Good day, podcast community. PeteKane here, Podcast Pete and lifestyle coach. And we have a special guest. We have an angel on in the house on the show. So, Charlie, thank you so much. I know you a little bit better in our communities. Many people know you, but tell our viewers who you are, what you do, and who you serve. And then we'll get into our podcast.
Who I am. Geez, who I am. So many things. How much time do we have? 30 minutes. Who I am. I'm just a girl, right?
Mhm.
That had an idea from a business standpoint. So who am I? I'm really into my community. I'm really into my family. Um, I'm really passionate about the things that I love. So that's me in a nutshell. I started a business 13 years ago, Charlie's Angels Movers, and best decision I ever could have made for myself. Becoming an entrepreneur was just it for me. You know what I mean? Like it was in me, and I didn't know it was in me until the moment that it hit. Like, oh, okay. So started business 13 years ago, and what was the third part of that, Pete? Who do I serve? Ah, who do I serve? So many people. I'm so fortunate to serve so many people in so many different capacities. But I serve a phenomenal team of men on my with the moving company that work so hard to do the thing in our community to change the landscape of an industry that I think was really tarnished, and that was really a lot of things that was very negative. When I looked into kind of this industry 13 years ago and started it, it was like, ooh, who can people trust in this business? Who should people choose? Like who is getting this right? And I had a hard time finding who was getting it right. So that was sort of born. Um, but I serve my team of men. I on the moving team. I serve Rotary, of course, my Rotary family, where it opens up so many opportunities for us to get out in our community and do what we love. And Ackworth Community Garden is a big passion project of mine. So if you don't know about that, it's in Ackworth. We donate all the food, so it's volunteer driven. All the food's donated to seniors with food insecurities in Ackworth, which I love. I'm the chair for Ackworth Cultural Arts. And so we helped bring a theater to Ackworth, so we're very proud of that, and love bringing all the performing arts to Ackworth. And yeah, so I'm plugged into quite a lot of things.
Yeah. Would you say that the grass doesn't grow very much under Charlie's feet? You move.
Yeah, I tend to stay in motion.
Yes, again. I
I
was
tend to stay in motion.
because I heard your classification talk, and at Rotary, that's where we get to know our members a little bit more intimate or better, because we don't always get a chance to have that. I want to go back when you said the hardest thing I think for entrepreneurs is that first year. You've got a regular paycheck coming in as a working for somebody else every Friday or whenever you're paid. Then you get into your own business and there's nothing guaranteed. If you don't make it happen, there's no money coming in. What was that first year like being an entrepreneur?
It was glorious. It was glorious. It was rough too, right? Like, the tears are welling up. Can't help it because of every emotion that happened that first year, right? But mostly it was gratitude for, did I do this? Did I do this?
Yes.
I did this. I said I was going to do this. Other people thought I couldn't do this, but I did this. So that first year mostly was just gratitude. And I worked on all my trucks the first year. So a lot of people don't know that story, but I didn't know moving to the point where, I knew business, I knew people, but I'm like, okay, this is a new industry. I got to figure this out. And I worked on all my trucks to figure it out, to be able to train men and to learn, just processes with this business. So I remember year one, I was on he got me because sometimes people, will do things to be cunning and deceitful, and they know they're going to get over. They this particular client smelled. Oh, she's new here, and he was right. So long story very short, very long story short. 17 hours in on this job, I was still downstairs, and the last guy around me tapped out, and he said, "Charlie, I'm sorry, I gotta go." And it was a pack job. It was, like I said, very long story short. Uh, it was this packing job, and we got down there, and I already quoted a price, so I'm new in the space, so I didn't want to go against my quote, but at the same time, he knew what he told me wasn't true, but I didn't change it. I went with it and just got the job done. But 17 hours, literally, not an exaggeration, in on this pack job, which was insane. How's my makeup now that you made me tear up in the first 30 seconds? The fourth guy finally said, "Charlie, I gotta go." And I'm like, "Man, listen, I understand, and thanks for hanging in with me this long. Like, see you later." And I stayed, and I finished probably another 2 hours. But what that taught me was so many things from a business standpoint, right? So I'm crying now because I don't know exactly why, but because I don't talk about this very often. So the opportunity to even speak about it, I think, is just doing the thing. But resilience, like it showed me so many things. It showed me these are days are going to be like this sometimes as an entrepreneur, right? Like, it reminded me of a couple things. Well, Charlie, you asked for this. You asked for God, give me anything, is what I said. I said, God, give me anything. Just give me an idea. Get me out of corporate America, like, help me figure this out. So did I answer that, Pete, or did I ramble on?
No, it was really good. And I appreciate your candidness and just sharing that, because a lot of people want to be in their own business, but are they ready to do whatever? And I think now you got me choked on. I think, like, we don't know until we hit that spot what we have inside of us, but it does really test us to the max. And I noticed the difference between people that are going to get a paycheck, whether they get up or not, and the people that are running a business, making it happen.
Yeah.
So,
built different.
Yeah, it is. It's night and day. So tell me, like, let's go to the second year. What are you doing to build Charlie up? How are you taking care of yourself? What's your, like, routine like? Different than corporate America? Just kind of share, like, what are you doing to work on Charlie?
The second year in business, when I started it, probably not a whole lot. Year two, like, I was head down in it. Like, I had to, my children were small then, so I had to pull them in and say, I knew what the next 5 years were going to be, because I was starting a business from nothing. I didn't know, but I had an idea. And I'm raising these two small children. And so at a point appropriately where they could grab it, because they'd come in and it looked like that mommy could play, because my office was at the house, and I could engage to a point, but you got to get back and answer the email and make the call. And it was just a balancing act for sure. So, but that second year, there wasn't a whole lot I was head down, like, for 5 years, you got to be prepared to go hard and put your head down for 5 years. And I knew that, like, some of my business mentors, right, helped me, just things, people that I engaged with and books that I read, business mentors, helped me to understand that it was going to be, you're going to go very, very hard for the first handful of years. So you have to be prepared and committed to those disciplines that go along with helping you meet whatever objectives and whatever goals. Like, I tell people a lot as I'm getting in business conversations, consulting and whatever. You know how many people I'm tripping over with $1 million business ideas sitting in their head right now? I'm tripping over people. I sit down and talk to somebody and I'm like, what did you just say? What did you just tell me? Oh my goodness. Like, that's huge. Like, you know what you have? That's a $1 million idea. You're not going to execute though. You know how many people I sit down with that it's just like, they got all these ideas, and I in the very same breath, I'm getting a sense for, how can I help you activate is what I'm into, right? Because I know how many people have these ideas in their head that would take them to the next level in their life on a real level. But you got to do the work. Like, there's no getting around it. You can't cut corners, not in the beginning. You get to the point where you find your way to shortcuts, right? But as a person that's really, I sit with a lot of people now that's like, well, I want to start my own business, Charlie. Like, how'd you do it? And I'm like, well, the first thing is you got to be prepared to outwork everybody in the room.
Yes.
So if that's not in you, you might consider just 9 to 5, because you get to clock out at 5. And in this game, you don't clock out at 5. There is no clock out.
Yeah.
Right. In this game, if you get a call at 9 o'clock, like something's going on a job site that went 4 hours over, well, sometimes you got to pull up, especially in year 2, 3, 4, like it was a whole lot of things, but there's everything to be said about hanging in there, confidence in yourself and your abilities. There's everything to be said about building those disciplines, right? Because you will get there if you get that part right. It's not, I tell people a lot, like, it's not this magic formula. Like, people are like, well, Charlie, how, why, what, and now I run other businesses. So they're like, how are you balancing it all? I'm like, well, today I have a team of a large team of phenomenal human beings, right? So choose wisely those people that you have around you, for sure. But the short of it is are you prepared to do the work? Yeah. Like, it's hard work. And by the way, it's hard work in either. You're working for corporate America, it's also hard work, right? You got to choose your hard in that, right? And so I just chose my hard, or moreover, it was chosen for me when I started the business, right? Because you heard me on the story that, I was just passed up on promotion. So otherwise, they made me think about something else.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about anything else. Like, they planted that seed in my head. Like, maybe I should consider employment elsewhere, because they're not promoting me. And I'm really good though. And I'm doing my job better than everybody that I look left and look right and see around me. So why are they not promoting me? Maybe I need to figure something else out for myself. So I did. I told God, I asked God, like, tell me what to do and give me an idea. And he did. He's listening. He's listening.
No, it's so good. Tell me, like, because moving is capital intensive. I mean, trucks aren't cheap.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people want to be YouTube stars, and because they can start for basically nothing.
Yeah.
You have to raise money. You have to have those intense capital expenditures. Was there any time during your journey that you looked at the bank account and it didn't look too good, and you were kind of like wondering, do I have enough to continue another day or two?
So it's funny, Pete, that my strategy was a little bit different. My method was different. So MMC, or Moving Masterclass University, that I'm initiating, was birthed out of, I went to a couple conferences in moving a couple of years ago. And I was surprised to find out, they have conferences in my industry. Amazing. Like, I don't know why I never thought of that, but yeah, let's do that. Found them, like, went to 2 back to back over the weekends. And I showed up to both, and like, this is what they're telling people. This is what they're training people on. This is how they're doing it. I was like appalled. Why are they doing it like that? Why would you tell people that? Why would you? That's what's wrong with the industry. No, that was so broken for me. So I immediately came back, like, I need to teach now. And I needed one more job on top of everything else I was doing. I was like, well, I need to teach, coach, and train that there's a better method. So
Mhm.
going back to your question, I think one of the biggest mistakes that movers make, is they're trying to get into this business, and it can be a very good business, if you do it the right way and if you step the right way. It's a very good industry. I highly recommend. Um,
Mhm.
but everybody that I've ever sat down with, always the first thing that they're like, well, okay, so, tell me where I can buy my first truck. And I'm like, rule number one, if you're going to start a moving company, is don't buy a truck.
Yeah.
Don't
Yep.
buy a truck. What are you doing? You're not going to have any business. You're not going to be money. You're going to be the feet on the street going out, drumming it up. You know how hard that is? Like, you got to give yourself a second. You can't pay a $1,500 26-foot box truck payment every month. You don't have any money. You know how much money I had when I started the business? $200 in my bank account.
Wow.
So I didn't have any money.
Mhm.
So I had to just go rent trucks at my local, whoever was renting trucks, U-Haul, Budget, right? And then I went and turned that truck back in. And they just presented myself so strong. You know what people don't do when they ask you, hey, calling to find out about a move? They don't say, hey, what type of truck are you going to be showing up in? Is it a U-Haul, or is it a Budget, or do you own it? They might say, what size is it? And they're all, 26 foot for the most part. Uh, but they don't say, whose is it? Is it yours? Do you own it? So they don't care once you present so strong and you come in and you do the business at the level and you treat this client how they deserve to be treated, right? In business and all things. Um, they don't care so much what you pull up in, right? So I immediately just was like, well, if I pull up in a U-Haul truck or a, a Budget truck, are they going to be like, wait a minute, what? Like, I just had to just get all that out of my head. Like,
Mhm.
they might, but also, who cares? Like, let me just start. Like, let me just activate. That's what I need to do. I just need to start and do it for the first time. So I did that. And rule number one is don't buy a truck.
Mhm.
Don't have all this debt right out of the gate when you have
Yes.
the money. Like, find another way. And if you don't
Mhm.
know the way, do your research or find a counsel, find a business mentor, find
Yeah.
somebody that did it in a way that, and pick their brain and consult with them. But I that's one of the first things that I say if I'm consulting anybody in this industry:
Yeah.
don't run out and buy a truck. And to this day, I'm 13 years in and I still don't own a truck. The first truck I ever bought was my second year. I was driving into Carrollton, found something on Facebook Marketplace, saw this 15-foot little turd of a box truck on the side of the road for $1,500. I bought it, and I used it for charity for the next 3 years with some of my charity projects. And I can't even believe it survived those 3 years, but it did, probably because I
Mhm.
was doing it for charity. And then I sold it. That's the only truck I've ever owned. Still to this day, I don't own trucks. I do long-term leases. Because why? Because they manage all my fleet. And
Yes.
so if I have a problem, I don't have to deal with it. And for me, I was in a better position to not deal with it. If I had a diesel mechanic in house, I would say, okay, I'm going to deal with and buy my own trucks, right? But if you
Mhm.
don't have the other things set up around you to be able to facilitate buying something like a 26-foot truck, don't do that. Don't do that.
No, I love that because we see people flip it, meaning they go out and get all the supply. They buy a expensive website. They get all this. They put all this stuff together in stuff, and they don't even have their first client yet. You got to create the demand first.
Pete,
That's the cash. That's the life and blood of the business. But people want to feel good, buy a truck, buy this, and they have all this stuff, and they don't have any clients. They don't have any cash flow.
and the thing is, people want to look good, right?
Yes,
I get it.
yes,
And I get it. You do
yeah,
want to look good. You do
yeah.
want to present strong, right? You do want to. It is important, but you also have to prioritize what in the order that becomes the most important thing, right?
Yes.
It might not be important at position number one. It's more like position number six, as you get the funds to be able to look more official, right? And like, but right now, I remind everybody, like, listen, you, you're the swag. You are the swag. Don't
Yeah.
you spend 1 cent on any of that crap that you think is going to make you look like. And if you are spending 1 cent on any of that crap, it needs to be marketing this way. And let's talk about how to do that, right? Not the little tchotchke stuff, not the don't do that. Like, don't do it that way. That's not it.
As I hear, I didn't know that you started for a couple $100. I always say, if you start with little, it's the best thing you could ever have, because you're more improvising, you're more creative, you know what you have to do. Where if somebody gets a sum of money, and let's just say they have 50,000, they do go out and buy the truck because they have the money. They think, I'm gonna get a big, beautiful truck. And then all of a sudden that money's gone.
That's
And
so real.
yeah, it's like winning the lotto. Lotto winners don't win.
No,
They
they don't. And they all go get back to
earn
being
it.
broke.
They just don't know, because their habits are basically, they don't know how to keep money. They don't know how to make money.
Right.
So what would you say, just to get a little bit off, what's the toughest thing about managing guys? Because I have two girls, six granddaughters. So I know the kind of stigma. Hey, I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to take advantage of somebody that doesn't know what's going on. What could you share with our community? Like, guys can be a handful. So what's your best tip of just kind of building that team?
Yeah. So it's been challenging. It's been challenging. I don't know what would be more challenging though, managing and leading and serving all women or men, right? Like pick your heart, choose your heart. Um, I feel like I've been very fortunate in the sense that I choose wisely, right? I choose wisely. And so I don't hire everybody. I get a lot of applicants, and the majority of people that apply, we don't hire, actually. Um, so, when we find somebody first, I think it kind of starts there, that we make good choices just from inception, and choose wisely. And then um, managing them, I don't know. I feel like it you love people, you love on people, you treat people with dignity and with respect. They treat me with a mutual respect. I'm tough. The expectation is great. The standard is very high. I'm very no nonsense with that expectation and with that standard. And also, they know that in about the first 10 minutes of interacting with me, right? Like, I'm going to be very upfront with that. Like, I'm firm, like as a female managing all men. I'm a tomboy sort of girl too, so I think that kind of fits in that world. I had two older brothers that essentially kind of raised me, right? And so it's been a fantastic ride of just, they protect me. They not that I need anything, to be protected from, but I don't know. They just they protect me, and I protect them in a way that is just, there's reciprocity there. And I couldn't imagine managing any other group of humans. Like, it's just been, really a lot of things. And then what it became was, as you get to know these men more personally, you help them. I found that I needed to help them in other ways, right? Like, started the car business, Charlie's Angels, chariots, because 1 in 3 men that I would hire didn't have vehicles, right? Like, and so I thought, in a city, our mass transit is pretty primitive, right? It's not like Washington D.C. It's not if you go to Europe, right? So it's like, how are you living like that? Has to be so challenging. Well, it is. Well, so just attacking other challenges that I found that my guys would go through. How do I help meet those challenges that they're dealing with other ways? So my life became a lot about that, which, drove different things. My 501(c) that I opened, Charlie's Angels Movers Charity Truck, my team of men has been the catalyst for a lot of things, right? That it's like the spin-offs of, well, how can I do more to help this and help this? And so, it's been fantastic serving and working alongside guys, right? But they're special, though. I mean, my guys are special. They're not. It's not every moving company that you encounter that you encounter this group of guys. They're it's just not. They're special.
Yeah, I've had 2 nightmare moves, probably almost 3. tell you my friends who share it have had nightmare moves. And it's like, I do agree with you that the industry is not connecting with service. I mean, it's like, oh, I'll only service them once every 5 years. So it's a one and done type thing. How do you keep the relationship going for your clients? Because, we don't move every day. So it's not a regular thing that you can build that relationship. How do you do it to keep that relationship long term?
So, Pete, if I were even better and stronger and more savvy as a businesswoman, I would be continuing some of the things that I started probably year 3 or 4, which was a newsletter, right? A quarterly newsletter. I think I had, so it was 4 times a year, and just some other things to stay front of mind, right? With you can manage all of that through your CRM and do the thing. I a lot of people told me too in the beginning, well, you don't have to plan for repeat business because
Mhm.
it's gonna be a one and done. And I think that that's why some moving companies handle people the way that they do. They deal with it like, well, I'm never going to see you again. You're never going to see me, so I can do and be whatever.
Yes.
My thoughts were different. I'm just like, I did some research. I'm like, well, people move on average like every 3 years. Like, so if it was amazing year 1, I'm going to see you year 3. And so now I have clients that I've seen year 1, and now it's year 13. And, we move them every year. A lot of people that I have had repeat client business, um, you know, so if I had even more bandwidth, and just even better processes as I level up, I would have continued the newsletter and some of those marketing pieces that I pulled away from, right? Because I'm busy. I we have all the business that we can handle right now,
Mhm.
um, and really that's kind of been the case, for the most part,
Mhm.
since inception. So, um, but that's how there are various ways, lots of strategies to keep that client base front of mind, which I do have a whole plan for, and we could talk through differently. But full disclosure, I personally haven't been doing that a whole lot. But I also feel like my guys show up so strong and do it so well. It's
Mhm.
such a standout experience, like on so many levels when they arrive, that they're we're memorable, right? Like we're just memorable. So I guess we got that going for us. When you do things at a certain level, like let that be the standout, let that be the newsletter, and you know what I mean? Like let that be that's the
No,
only.
it's totally understandable. What would you say if you had to, so you're 13 years in and you had to reflect on your journey of 13 years and you're talking to your younger 13-year-old self. I don't know how old you are, but whatever you were when you started the business, what advice would you give that person you?
I would tell her everything is temporary, the good and the bad. So in this moment, it might not feel so good, great, glorious, right? That that lining, that future, that prospect, that idea, stay with it. Hang on to it, right? Do the work. Keep doing the work. You know
Hmm.
what's in you. You know what's in you. So, you know, stay the course.
Wow, I love it. The bird just chirped as you were saying that. So it was kind of like validation.
I'm really into birds. So because you said that, Chip, I got to say, like,
Oh,
binoculars. Like
yes.
I'm such a bird dork. I got my
Yes.
computers out here, and I'm just like really into it. So they're all like Snow Whiting me all the time.
Yeah, it's so good. Now, I want the average, I study strategy and just how people think. And the average person in America is watching 4 hours of TV and scrolling 2.5 hours of TikTok videos.
Yeah.
So that consumption of other people's lives doesn't get us anywhere. How does Charlie stay creative, and how do you challenge yourself to keep growing?
I don't watch TV.
Mm.
So the only time I watch TV is at night if I need something to fall asleep to, because it puts me right to sleep, generally speaking. If
Mhm.
I am watching TV, it's usually Dateline, because I like true crime, everything. I'm like obsessed. So I'll fall asleep to that. Outside of that, I'm not really, everybody's shocked when it's like, you haven't seen Top Gun? You haven't seen like all the classics. Mostly I haven't seen them, right? I just haven't seen, I'm just never been into it. It wasn't my childhood and my life. So kind of stemmed from that. And then, I don't watch TV. I'm kind of grateful that it's never been one of my vices or my addictions. And now with social media, I mean, how can you not be addicted, right? Like to a degree, but I'm also very conscious of creating. Like I absolutely try to be very mindful of if I'm on social media, and I manage a lot of different pages, a lot of different marketing platforms. There's a whole lot that I'm plugged into from that standpoint that takes up a lot of my time. But if I'm on social, I'm creating, I'm not consuming. And I'm very intentional with that. And I'll catch myself quick if I start that scrolling situation, like I'm just very, very mindful of it, and try to remind, my kids to be mindful of it. And that's the best that you can do.
Yeah, no, it's so, I go over to the high school at Kennesaw Mountain, and what I get concerned about is the easy life. It just, I lost it, not this time, but I think it was two other times. We're coming in, we're spending an hour of our time poured into these kids, and they could care less.
Yeah.
And I was like, you could hear a pin drop after I just laid into them, because we only have one life.
Yeah.
And if we just kind of go through and do everything, we never challenge ourselves, we don't push ourselves. Our benchmark is so low that anybody could hit it. We don't live that full life that's possible. What would you say? Like, what is your way that I found journaling, which I never did before my stroke. If I completed one journal, that was probably the max. I have 17 done, finished.
Wow.
I wear out like pens. I throw them away like they're candy because I write so much.
How's your handwriting?
Pardon?
How's your penmanship?
It's better now than it was, because being dyslexic, I couldn't spell like 3 words correct in a paragraph. But now my thinking is clearer, my clarity, how I express myself through ideas. Do you have a habit that has really served you in the 13 years that you could share with our community?
More recent habit in the last 5 years. So it didn't start in the beginning, but deep breathing and meditation is a very big part of my life. Being outside, nature is, something of a religion to me, if you will. Like the earth and being in it and being grounded is I'm very into it. And so, that's my safe space and my sanctuary, and being out here with the birds and the animals. And I think that gives me something. I think it gives everybody something, right? We all need that, but a lot of people don't realize that, don't recognize that. So they stay indoors and, like, honestly, never come out in the sunshine, like spend a whole life indoors in video games and different, activities that just keep them inside. And then you wonder why your mind is foggy and you're down and you're depressed and you know your balance is off, your circadian rhythm is off. Like you need sunlight, you need to be in nature, you need to go touch that tree and hug it and see how you feel, right? So I'm really into gardening and having my hands in the dirt and
Mhm.
just connecting with the earth. It's important to me. I'm really into recycling and like the environment and you know I think it would be an easy challenge to conquer if just each person was just responsible for themselves in that aspect. You only have to worry about you, and that seems like such a small, concern and consideration to have. Like, oh, I only need to, just recycle, like just throw it in this bucket versus that bucket. Like it pains me that, you know, it's I don't want to say that it's easy. I don't like to say, well, because that's all relative, things like that. But it's just like, try, can we try? Can we try to save it? Can we try to
Yeah,
leave it better than how we found it? Can we try?
that is so good. There's a lot of people that will say, like, what we learned in kindergarten, was so eventful. I had another guy that said the first 7 years will wire our brain in such a way that sometimes we can't get that out of our head. What prepared you in those first 7 years for what you're doing today?
In the first 7 years of my life,
Mhm.
um, I learned how to survive.
Mm.
Another story for another day.
Well, I would love to have you back on for Charlie 2.0 to
I'd
go
love
into a little bit more deeper because you know, I get a chance to hear some amazing stories and somebody say, why do you like podcasting? I have at least a half hour to go in a meaningful conversation with people. And today, it's hard to get that. It's hard to get 5 minutes because
yeah.
people are so busy. They're busy. It's like, how are you doing? Oh, they're doing great, but they're not really. But they just kind of react to it and have those meaningful conversations. It just fills your heart. So fine, I want you to tell our viewers because I want to be respectful of your time. What what how can people get a hold of you? And then I have one final question.
If you're calling me about him, it depends on why you want to get a hold of me. What do we have for him, Johnny? If you're calling about a move, call my office, 678-523-5353, charliesangelsmovers.com. We'll give you any other reference or resource that you need. My charity, my 501c3, we just sell furniture for a small profit, a very good price, best price you're going to find anywhere. All of that money goes to my charity, which is just helping people in Ackworth in various capacities. You find all that on the Charlie's Angels Movers charity truck website. Um, and anything else you need from me from there, those couple of resources will get you there. If you want to come and be my guest at Rotary, and if you have a heart for serving and for giving, I would absolutely love to have you. So
Yes.
come plug in with me there or any other number of various volunteer activities I have going on. A lot of people know now that if you want to get on my schedule now, I don't just sit and do one-on-ones anymore. Very rarely. Usually I'm like, yeah, you can get on my schedule, but I'm volunteering Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, so I'll meet you at the theater. And then we can talk as we work type of situation. So that's been working well.
I love it. I'll do a lunch and then I'll invite half a dozen people because I don't believe in the one-on-ones. I mean, I want people to meet people, and if I'm going to set that time out, it's just like I want somebody to meet another person because our time is precious.
I'm
We
the same, Pete.
we don't have unlimited time. So, what would be the one thing that you would want our viewers to take home from this time on the podcast?
Don't go use all your capital that you have to start a business, right? Don't go spend all your money on the swag and the things you might not necessarily need. You are the swag, right? And if you don't realize that yet, you got to align yourself with the right people that are going to help you get there in identifying that, right? So build your counsel, be a good human, pour into your community. It matters if you are an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner. Giving back to your community, as I think is equally important as serving your community in the business capacity. So, reciprocity in all things. So live that life. It'll make you better. It'll sharpen you. It'll make you stronger. It'll help you build relationships and cultivate them in a way that it'll change you for good and give you some of the things that you need in this life.
Beautiful, man. I'll use a baseball term. You just knocked it out of the park.
Pete, when I was volunteering with you, you had invited me to come on the podcast. And I said, yeah, I do want to go on the podcast, but I hadn't really engaged with you fully. I'm seeing you at Rotary. I'm seeing that great, big, fantastic smile that like lights up the room. And I hear you speak, on Sunshine and different things. And I'm just like, I like that guy. But then when I had a chance to volunteer with you with the men's extension at Rotary, I was like, I like that guy. Like, let me get on his podcast. Like, we just had a different conversation and just engaged further.
Yeah.
Let me get on his podcast and see what he's got going on. So this has just been a delightful. You're delightful. This has just been a pleasure. And I thank you so much for inviting me.
I appreciate you too, Charlie. Thank you so much for being a guest on our podcast and sharing with